The man held a weapon and drilled holes in the bulletproof glass of the armored truck. Then he put a rope over it and tied the rope to another vehicle. He directed the vehicle to move forward, and the glass of the armored truck was pulled open. They robbed the armored truck. When they returned to a safe place, they opened the door and found it empty. They were very disappointed and prepared to rob again. This time they were going to rob a bank. However, the police received news of the operation in advance. The police put on bulletproof vests and each carried a weapon. They wanted to arrive at the bank entrance ahead of the criminals and wait. Sure enough, a car appeared in their sight. Several people got out of the car and walked toward the bank fully armed. They were very professional. After entering the bank, they first damaged the cameras, then quickly controlled all the staff, gathered them together, and took away everyone's mobile phones. At that moment, the sound of police sirens came from nearby, and a police car suddenly arrived. The man was very angry and asked why they had come suddenly. The man said it was his case. It turned out that the criminals inside had threatened the bank manager to call the police voluntarily. The main purpose of the criminals was to attract all the police here and then carry out their next plan. The criminals planted bombs in the bank and destroyed the vault door. The police outside were making an attack plan when the explosion drew their attention. But after a few minutes, there was no movement inside. The man looked at the sewer entrance in front of him and seemed to think of something. He took an iron bar from the car and walked toward the bank alone. He carefully observed the situation outside the door, then pried open the door and found that the criminals were gone, leaving only the kidnapped hostages. A companion found a hole in a room, which confirmed the man's suspicion. The hole led to a certain part of the city. It turned out that the criminals' target was a larger bank. They disguised themselves as staff of this bank, entered the bank's interior, and pushed the cash to be stored into the counting room. Then they waited in the lounge. A criminal turned off the circuit breaker on this floor.
After the power outage, the workers all walked out of the office.
It was time for action. A criminal hiding in a box turned on a jammer, interfering with the monitoring signal. After confirming that there was no one around, they notified their companions in the box to come out quickly, help put the cash into bags, and throw it into the garbage disposal chute, waiting for the garbage truck to take away the banknotes. After they packed the money, their companion outside turned on the circuit breaker, and the power was restored. The robber disguised himself as a bank staff member and safely walked out of the bank gate. On the other side, the robbers stopped the garbage truck loaded with cash at an intersection. The police who came after receiving the news happened to meet the criminal, who had just left. After arresting him and interrogating him, the criminal revealed their meeting place. The two robbers had already loaded the money into the car. When they learned that their companion had been arrested, they quickly drove away from the scene. Another team of police who came to the scene found them and accelerated the pursuit. After chasing for a while, they encountered a traffic jam ahead. They could see the robbers in front of them but couldn't do anything. The criminals found the police behind them. They looked at each other, took up their weapons, and got out of the car. One person with a heavy weapon was responsible for fire suppression. He made a gesture, and his companion quickly got out of the car and opened fire on the police behind.